Thank you, Madam President. Sarah, could you tell us all who is on the economic, is this an e-board that's been set up?
No, it's just been a working group. It's been an informal working group. It was drawn from the nonprofits and interested parties in furthering our commercial connections and bringing partnerships to make this economy flourish.
I guess I would just want to make one comment, Madam President. It would be this. Economic development is hard work, right? And whereas an academic and thought-driven foundation is a good thing, what's ultimately going to be required here wasn't in this presentation. It's marketing, it's outreach. You do not sit by the phone and wait for people to come to do business in your community. You call them. And what you're looking for from them, and this didn't show up either, and then, by the way, entrepreneurs. I didn't see that word. I didn't hear that word. Business people with business plans, with investors looking to create jobs and vibrant businesses. And yes, Gloucester is a full-service port historically. But what that means, among other things, is getting the fish pier up with value-added processing again. It can't all be think tanks and academics. Not everyone in Gloucester has a PhD in economics and biochemistry and marine sciences. And we've got to be firmly grounded in where we've been and in what it takes to get there. And I would urge all hands to look at the example of a community with a heritage like ours, New Bedford. And there's an organization called the Bedford Economic Development Council. It's affiliated with the city, but it's a separate entity. Its executive director is a fellow named Matthew Morrissey, and he's an economic development wizard. And it's about the same kinds of marketing that I just spoke to, together with a vibrant effort where we need to do a whole lot more on collaboration with the state and federal government in a multitude of ways. And I would just urge folks to look to the model of the Bedford Economic Development Council, because we don't need to reinvent the wheel. The wheel is there, it exists, and it works well. Woodweed had one like it for quite a while now.
Sarah, you just bring this presentation from the Fisheries Commission?
I brought it, I did not bring it specifically to the Waterways Board or the Fisheries Commission. I reported back to them what we were doing with the maritime economy, but we were at that point pursuing the three legs of the harbor economy as three separate items. I could certainly bring it to the Fisheries Commission. I've talked to members of the Fisheries Commission about it.
I'd like you to bring it formally, because I was there one time when we were talking about that. And we have a little bit of, let's see, questions about, partnership and what's going on. As if you know that if everyone who's read about Bread and Circus Whole Foods, they boycotted codfish because they joined with a certain group. And so we have to be careful with partnership. You have people who are already willing to jump in. They're not waiting for the phone calls. They're there. I'm hoping that the group that we get together to do workshops or to listen to people are diverse. It's not the same people who are making the same decisions. We have a wonderful Fisheries Commission who is diverse on that and represent our waterfront. And I'm hoping that you come forward with that and give them input, because if not, then we are a Fisheries Commission doing the same thing we did 20 years ago. And we all agreed that we were going to move Gloucester forward, keep it a working waterfront, and exist with everything that is to exist to make us a wonderful waterfront. And when we did the slash before the summit, we had the postings of when we did the harbor view and we did the changes in zonings, etc. Some of the folks were saying the same exact thing that the Fisheries Commission did 20 years ago. But they were saying that Gloucester needs to get someone like the Fisheries Commission. That's why we started out again, because they listened to some of the people that were saying we need a Fisheries Commission to get economic development. That was one of the things, to actually promote Gloucester. Some of the things they were saying, it's all funding. If we don't have funding, we can't do it. There's your seafood festival. To promote everything we have, which we've done in the past, and now because we lost funding from them, it's word of mouth. It's very hard. And we can't go to a trade show for the fishing industry because because we're not put together to have the funds to, rent the tables or to get that care. And when you ask other people, yeah, we're willing to do it, but we don't have the manpower because, we don't know it was the last term. We need to show action is right. When we know that already the programs exist, what we should do is piggyback on them to move it forward. I mean, a little step is better than no step. And I'd like to see, ask David to put that on the agenda, the same presentation you did. If you even come up here, it's not a problem, but I would like to see that.
I look forward to doing that. I think strengthening those relationships are key. I think that's part of how we grow. I also look forward to, so the council is aware that we will be doing the 2012 harbor planning effort. And I see that as very much a collaboration of the fisheries, the waterways board, the maritime economy working group, the kind that we can all hash these issues out together, and tourism, to really think about how we move our waterfront forward. But I will also bring it to the commission. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor McGarry and Councilor Shalina.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Sarah, for the presentation. As you know, I was there for both days. I sat in on a number of the workshops, and one thing that emerged in several of the workshops was, in the context of infrastructure, we need to have an educated workforce. In the 21st century, we need to be producing not just PhDs and postdocs, but we need to produce the lab rats, the special assistants, the people who can help people who are bringing marine technology and biotechnology to a place like us where they're going to be looking for a couple of things. Mostly, I think they're going to be looking for an educated workforce. And they're also going to be good schools to which to put their kids. So I think that's a crucial part of our infrastructure building. And I know that Joe Rosa, who was in his bunch, has been very much in favor, and then I figured Feinstein's worked with him as well. I'm trying to get a program like that started. While it's strictly the purview of the schools, it seems to me that in your new position as Harbor Development Director, working on that sort of inshore infrastructure that supports the harbor would be an important goal that we would set and to work towards with the administration and with the schools. And I just want to make sure that that point doesn't get lost in the marketing and the building of piers and docks and all those things which are important. But I think education for a 21st century economy is going to be the key to our growth and development.
I really appreciate you reinforcing that. It was a key point. The only thing that I would add to that is that we wanted to attract outposts of various institutions, remote campuses, but we also want that grade 13 concept where our youth are given that connection to this world in a different way. And I appreciate Joe Rosa, let me know, is running that group, and I look forward to helping that and making it work for us.
Sarah, when the conclusions were put together from the Maritime Summit, there are some people that have come forward that attended all the meetings and kind of look at, especially the recommendations of the designated port area, really don't agree with the conclusions and what was said at the meeting. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there. I'm chained to 153 Main Street, and it's very difficult for me to get away. But how do you and your committee, can you defend the report and say that it's accurate, especially when it concerns the designated port area and their recommendations?
The amount to which the report strictly designated port area regulations is just to the fact that what is brought up at the summit is desired working waterfront uses. It needs to be said that they're not now eligible. That would be completely misleading to say, oh, we want research on our waterfront and not acknowledge that research is not a water-dependent industrial use under our regulations. And so this will be part of our 2012 harbor planning discussion, because you need to have that conversation in a broad public format where everybody gets to have their say. But to say it in the report is accurate if it's a statement of fact. We will clarify that the summit was in no way talking about marine recreational uses, which really, I think, was a really core piece that our regional planning agency just doesn't have quite as fine an ear. And the way it was said in the sentence, I just up. But we see that and we will correct it.
How do you, why would there people that attend the same conference leave that conference with two different conclusions?
We had quite a frank discussion at the Wednesday night public meeting down in the front room, and we kind of all came to an accepted conclusion. No one had disparate takes, at least from that meeting. There were about 30 people there. With a lot of people who have a lot of interest in this, and also many who were at the summit. The conclusion there was the summit talked about it's possible that we need an expansion of uses on the working waterfront that reflects what we think are maritime working waterfront uses. If we want oceanography research, or if we want to be building underwater robots, remote operated vehicles, if we want to be putting out observation buoys out onto the ocean, which is something that our vessels could definitely do and have done in the past. Talking with Paul Vitale, who is on the Fisheries Commission, he said he used to do quite a bit of work with the researchers, and it was good work, and it's a nice way to fill in time, depending on what other things you're doing. Anyways, there was an agreement that we understood that that was the context that that paragraph was supposed to refer to. I do not feel like we left that meeting saying there's a disagreement on what we heard.
So, in conclusion, you agree with the conclusions of the report for the summit meeting?
Yes, as corrected, as amended.
Anyone else? Sarah, when will the draft report conceivably merge to a final report?
I spoke to our rep. He said he was working on it last Friday, and I thought I